Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Smarshy Files. I'm Smarshy, nice to meet you. This channel is all about exploring the things that we can learn about leadership from good vegetable gardening techniques. I know that sounds a little crazy. A lot of people don't think those things are that related, but trust me, they are. And we're going to explore them in lots of different videos. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to turn this frozen wasteland into a gorgeous, green, lush, productive garden that's going to feed me and my family all summer long. And we're going to learn a couple of things about leadership along the way. So I hope you'll come with me. It's going to be great fun. Let's go. Here's my garden, my little plot of land. And what I love about this time of year is that it makes everything look like a blank canvas. It's like a reset. Old mistakes from previous years are forgotten, and we get a chance to start fresh. How often do we get opportunities like that in life? This looks pretty rough right now, I'm not gonna lie. But I promise you, in the spring months and in the summer, this place is a lush, green playground filled with lots of vegetables, flowers. It's awesome. Right, Maisy? That's right. Okay, so let's briefly review my garden plan for 2022. So for planning, I use software from a website called growveg.com. This is their garden planner app, which I love. It's not free, there's a subscription, but I think it's well worth it. I'll put a link in the description. But basically it allows you to sort of configure and customize your own garden layout and then experiment with different plants and different layouts. And it's really great. There's a ton of information over here on the left side. You can see if I, for example, click artichoke and put that in, it actually helps you understand, spacing, and then you can get all sorts of information about the plants. It can be really helpful. So I'm a big fan. Anyway, let's take a look here. So up at the top, I'm growing some asparagus. I haven't grown that before. This is, so the top is facing north and the bottom is facing south. So this area gets, between 6 and 8 hours of full sun a day. So it's really pretty ideal. Asparagus, I've not grown before, but I'm excited for that. I grew artichokes here last year, and that did not go very well. Not sure what I did wrong there, but I'm going to fail fast on that one. And then as we go down the left side, cucumbers and pumpkins. I haven't grown pumpkins vertically before, but man, their sprawl is so much, it takes over so much room that I'm going to try to grow it up a trellis this year. On the right hand side, I've got sweet potatoes, which also love to spread out, but I've got a lot of room here on the right hand side where I can kind of let them run. Some sweet Walla Walla onions that I'm going to put there, and some marigolds, which are not only good for attracting pollinators, but mosquitoes hate the smell of marigolds. So if you put some of them in there, you can at least have a little bit of relief. It gets pretty buggy up here because we're really close to the woods. I've got a little blueberry plant in there, which is still kind of humming along, even though I think it's produced maybe 3 or 4 blueberries over the course of its 5 years of life. So I wouldn't say that's a great yield, but it's there. And then I've got 3 different kinds of tomatoes here. I'm growing San Marzano paste tomatoes, which are awesome for making tomato sauce. And then some big beef tomatoes or big beef tomatoes down here, and then some cherry tomatoes here. Love tomatoes in the summertime. They're the best. I hardly ever eat them any other time of the year, but in the summer when they're fresh, man, they taste amazing. And then on the right side here over this arbor, I've got cucumbers and pole beans growing and some kale in the bottom of the bed. So we'll see how that goes. I used to actually have pumpkins growing over the top of this, which looked nice, but they didn't stop. They just kept going and going and going. And we'll talk about pruning later, because that's an important concept both in gardening and in leadership. Bell peppers down here. Only had 2 here last year. Realized I could have handled 4, so we're going to double that up. Edamame in the middle here, which I'm really psyched about. Never grown edamame before. That'll be fun. And then potatoes. I love growing potatoes. Again, there's just nothing like a potato that you grew and harvested yourself. I used to actually grow them up here in these individual grow bags, and they did well there, but again, they would just grow to be so big and they would take up all the space, so I couldn't actually even maneuver in here if I wanted to get in and do some weeding or anything. And then carrots down at the bottom, just to round it out, they did great. Definitely going to grow those again. So this is sort of the blueprint. This is what we're looking at for the year, and it's really very, very helpful to plan this all out in advance and understand what success kind of looks like. All right, so what did any of that actually have to do with management or leadership? Well, that one's actually pretty easy, right? None of this is really rocket science, right, Maisy? So what have we done here? We set an objective, right? We want a garden that's going to feed me the food that I want to eat consistently over the course of the summer. And we set a strategy and a plan for how to achieve it, right? And we just went through that. When I think about setting the strategy, it's about making sure everybody understands what their role is and how we're actually going to achieve that. So what do I need to do in order to achieve that? Well, I need to assemble a team, right? And that's what the seeds are. In this case, the seeds are my team. So let's talk about that for a second, because I think this is important. Here's some seeds from Johnny's. These are pepper seeds. Maisy, come on, give me a break. How come you only want to come over here when it's filming, but when I'm not filming, you're fine? Okay, thank you very much. Off you go. So this is a little seed. Probably can't see it. Now, I have no idea how this seed does what it does. It's magic to me. Can I do what this seed does? Absolutely not. The fact that this little seed has all the instructions it needs in order to grow into a big, green, beautiful pepper plant is beyond me. It's just magic. Anyway, the fact that I can't do that, does that mean I can't be an effective leader for this thing? Of course not. This thing needs me, right? Because it needs someone to make sure it has the right environment to succeed, that it's getting the right nutrients, that it's not being overwhelmed by weeds, and that it's being pruned in the right way to increase its focus. That's ultimately the job of the gardener, and it's the job of the leader also. So the number one thing I need to do is find the right working environment for these seeds. So here we are, all right, we're a place where it's a south-facing garden. I've got 6 to 8 hours of full sun here in the summertime, which is great, so check, right? I've got a series of raised beds that are looking a little rough right now, but they're gonna look great soon. And within those raised beds, I can control their workspace, right? The place where they're gonna do their thing. And that's gonna be a great mixture of peat moss and compost and soil. And I'm going to make sure that they get the right nutrients when they need it, the right amounts of water, not too much, not too little, that they're going to be fertilized when it's appropriate. And most importantly, I'm not going to do too much of any of that, right? I'm not going to get in there and start mucking with them and micromanaging them, because the biggest thing that I can do for them is to give them what they need and get out of the way. And how many of us have worked in jobs where our managers never just got out of the way, right? They felt like they had to understand as much about what you were doing as you did, and that's simply not the case. Hey, so it's kind of funny, I think I've filmed this episode over the course of the last 10 days or 2 weeks or so, and during that time it has snowed probably 3 times. One really big snow where we got like 15 inches, and a couple of days it's been in the 50s, almost 60 degrees. So it must be kind of confusing when you see the ground is covered with snow sometimes and not others. Well, all I can say is welcome to New England. This is Zone 6B for you. I wanted to share some of these themes with you guys, and hope you'll follow along as I go into some other topics in the next couple of episodes. So I'm going to be talking about things like different types of support. Obviously, different kinds of plants need different types of support, just like different people need different kinds of support. And we're going to be talking about things like watering and pruning, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you guys will subscribe and follow along. One thing I want to make sure of, if you haven't already noticed it, I am not a master gardener. And there are people watching this right now that will forget more about gardening than I will ever know, and that's okay. I'm not pretending to be a great gardener. What I do want to do is share some of my thoughts around how similar some of the best gardening techniques are with the best leadership techniques. And that's really all I'm doing. But with that said, if you guys have any tips for me or things that you think I could be doing better, I definitely want to hear all about it, both on the leadership side and the gardening side. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Can't wait to see you back here soon. And hopefully the weather will get warm and we'll be out here planting before you know it.